Yo guys, it's Democracy in December, the Factions edition. So I'm in the middle of a series of videos where I explain why approval voting will enable us to have multi-vote elections that can lead to a multi-candidate competition, and that will give us various benefits that come from having lots of different parties. But I realized that for a lot of people, it might not be clear why we want to have multiple parties. Our political parties are so dysfunctional right now that it seems like really the answer is to get rid of all of them, or perhaps getting rid of all but one, and just do the smart thing, because the decisions we're making are so bad that it seems like making the right decision is easy. So I want to give you kind of a theoretical thought experiment that helps me understand why, even in a modern situation where we have the internet and we have science, we still might want to have political parties that wind up disagreeing with each other. So one of the main things that the state does is create institutions, and it funds them by having taxes. So there's going to be a decision of how high are the taxes and how much are the institutions funded. So you can think of two factions where one says, oh, let's raise the taxes a little higher, fund the institutions a little more, and another faction that says, let's keep these things a little lower. So when you think about how to make that decision, you have to kind of estimate how the institution is going to perform. And we have a tendency to overestimate how easy these projects will be to accomplish. And we also have a tendency to underestimate how much they will cost to complete. So even if you make a really good estimate, you have to factor in the geography and the weather and the culture of the area where they will be operating to determine how much value that institution can create. So it's good to be optimistic, and I think it's great that these calculations have kind of an optimistic bias, which leads people to attempt things even though they wind up being harder than they thought. But there still kind of needs to be a point at which you say, okay, that's a little too ambitious. We are not going to do that now, maybe sometime in the future, or maybe if you want to do that, you can go to another town or another state and you can do it there. So that is why I think that we still are going to be better off if we have factions and we have parties. And coincidentally, that's why I also think that there tends to be a Republican majority in places that are more sparsely populated, because those communal projects like building a library are just going to pay off a little bit less for people who are living farther apart from each other. So thank you very much for coming to my channel. Let me know what you think, and I will check back with you again tomorrow.